raised, for lack of a better phrase, in Amcard.
I like that. So tell me a little bit about your experience then. Because I think a fairly unique one for one who is trying to pursue masterhood and then eventually comes up for a COK vote without having a knight there to petition their cause or
Yeah.
whatever you want to call it. Because I feel like that's a question that gets asked all the time: is do I have to be belted to become a knight? And obviously you weren't. So what was that experience like?
Um, I wasn't belted to anybody. I did have a couple of advocates, people that I'm close friends with who are on the Knights list, and asked them if they would be willing to be uh, a voice for me.
Hmm.
Not, it wasn't a case of, hey, tell them I'm awesome and give me a belt. Nothing like that. It was more like sort of a go between, because I didn't have that night to give feedback. Like if I was discussed and the COK felt I needed to work on a certain thing, you know, the two people that I really worked fairly close with was Sir Bowen, um, and God damn it, Sir Colt, were the ones that I really worked with. And it wasn't anything super structured or anything along those lines, but it was basically, hey, you came up for discussion. These are some concerns that people have. These are some things that people think that you're doing that are really well, or doing them really well, and
Hmm.
they kind of helped me steer into a get hopefully a better chance, but just really kind of point me more in the right direction. I would say that it's not a path that I would recommend for everyone. Let me tell you that now. Um, but clearly you don't need a knight to become a knight. I'm not the first person who was knighted without being belted to somebody. I'm not going to be the last person. But I think in some ways it's probably more difficult because you don't have somebody who's there that has intimate knowledge and can kind of help steer things, or kind of help,
Hmm.
when a discussion comes up beyond, like, oh, I know him, he's my friend, and he lives 10 hours away, so I don't really see him, but I'll definitely pass things on, versus, hey, we play at the same park, this is my squire, this is what they're doing, so it can absolutely make it more difficult.
I get that for sure. I remember thinking before I became a knight that the knights lists were on Facebook, and the whatever communication form that the knights use was 10 or 15 times more active
Oh
than
my
what it
god.
actually was, right? Right? Like you say they're talking about me, they're discussing me. Just I thought that like the knights every night were having conversations about all the different people in their kingdom.
Same.
And it's not true. Like
No.
so what are some things like that then that someone who is now on the other side dispel some of the myths that maybe you had before you were a knight for our listeners who are not knights?
So I think right now, and it's kind of hard because um, I got knighted. Let's see, I was knighted in March of 2019. So I had about a year where I was just kind of um, feeling my way through, and kind of, for lack of a better phrase, growing into being a knight. People said that you'll do that, and I thought it was bullshit. But the truth of it is, you do sort of grow into the position as time goes on. Um, and then right as I kind of really felt sort of comfortable in my role as a knight, COVID hit,
Yeah. Yeah.
and so you know, um, but during that first year, man, we didn't talk hardly at all about anything. Uh,
Yep.
Maybe once or twice a reign, the monarch would reach out to whoever the GMOK was at the time and say, "Hey, do you guys have any advice on these people?" And then we would discuss it very briefly. He would give their little snippets, and then it would go back to the monarch, and that'd be it. We wouldn't hear anything about it again for another 3 months, 4 months. Every now and again, somebody would bring up, "Hey, we need to change this. There was a Kapora change, so we need to change our bylaws, to kind of fit more in line with that." Or the odd discussion about activity and who can vote and who can't vote
Mhm.
and all that other stuff like that. I, I very much like you were saying, though. I used to think that the COK was super active and was talking every night about having these long fights and everything else. And I'm like, man, we talk like somebody posts every other week, maybe.
Maybe, maybe.
Maybe every other week. And it's usually, hi guys, we're not dead. And then everybody goes about their day. So our CUK is also relatively small.
Mm,
Uh, from what I understand, GV CUK used to be far more active back when Nine Blades was part of Golden Veil because they used to. God, what were they there? Yeah, they were part of Golden Veil for a long time. Then they moved over to Rising Winds,
mhm,
got their kingdom, and now they're their own thing. But there was when they moved over, I think GV lost probably half of its knights. So I think
mm,
active right now in Golden Veil that I can think of is probably 6 or 7 of us that are actually active, and a lot of it's just life,
yeah.
jobs, kids, everything. It's not you can't always be active. It just doesn't work out that way. But yeah, if you think that we're some sort of shadow organization who is determining the future of the game and who's going to become knights, it just doesn't work that way. It really doesn't.
It
We just don't talk frequently enough for that to even be a thing that actually happens.
No, I remember when I got on the Knights page for the Rising Winds, I wanted to scroll back and read through all of the posts.
Yeah,
I did it in an evening, and the kingdom has been that board has been around for 15 years,
yeah.
right? So it's not a big deal, and I know certain kingdoms have disagreements on this. In the Rising Winds, the in-person meetings at events were open to anybody. And
Hmm.
so since I had been a squire, my knight had, and one of my other really good friends who is a knight in my fighting company, they both wanted me to come and sit in on the meetings and you talk about being visible and just being there and seeing how it all works. And so the majority of the disagreements and the drama and all of that happened in those in-person meetings that everyone was allowed to attend if they wanted to, type of thing. And it really, I don't know. I feel like people, you get the decoder ring, and now you're a part of the secret organization with the secret handshake, and like,
I actually messaged Jinx today and I said, "Hey, I want my decoder ring."
yep, yep. So I never got one of those. Wait.
Yeah, I don't have my decoder ring. What's the secret handshake? Aren't we supposed to be like? Yeah, no,
Yep.
no. Did you? Oh, well, no, I've got one. So there we go. Um,
So